Yo, what's going on, Blackish University? It's your boy B coming at you with another reaction. Yo, I'm excited about this one because this is actually recommended to someone from the comment section. They said, let's see if I can pull it up here. I want to catch the kid's name right here, Jose Olivencia. He said, "Yo, great reaction. Check out Sirac's The Black Renaissance featuring the GOAT Blast Black Thought. It's a masterpiece of spitting." So, yo, anytime I hear something like that, everyone who's in the know knows that Black Thought is the truth, right? And man, people say he's never spit a whack verse. So, if I'm not mistaken, Sirac is a lady. I quickly saw when I pulled this up. So, yo, I'm excited. Let's get to this. Excited about Black Thought because he challenges what you know, not just about rap, and he's got these complex rhyme schemes, but he really challenges like your, I want to say vocabulary as well, because man, he is an intellectual individual, and sometimes he gets you thinking, and you gotta love his work. So without further ado, let's get it.
Dear white people, I am not your Negro. Dear black people, y'all just got your hero. All these rap demons, I'm about to debo. Being inside of my ATL and alter ego.
Yo, damn, gotta love Black Thought. Just came right out with it. He said, "Yo, dear white people, I am not your Negro, right? Yeah, black people, y'all got your hero. If y'all know about Black Thought, he's been fighting that good fight and trying to put people on game for, man, legit decades." And for those who young cats that don't know about the movie Friday and Debo, you better knock the fuck out, right? Where Debo, they knock Debo out at the end of the movie. Debo's like this big, he's a bully, right? So he said, "Yo, I'm about to Debo, right? I'm about to bully this." Yo, he said, "Me and Asada." Now I'm thinking the reference is to Asada Shakur, Tupac Shakur's godmom. She used to be a member of the Black Panther Party, and if I'm not mistaken, she's still wanted for murder. I believe she killed a state trooper, and then she fled. I know she was charged. I don't know the entire story, but she fled. I believe she resurfaced in Cuba years later, and she has political asylum. But she was out there. She was an activist that was part of the Black Liberation Army. And she also briefly joined the Black Panthers. There's still, to this day, there's a $2 million bounty on her head, if I'm not mistaken. Let's get back to it.
Being inside of my ATL and alter ego. The Queen of Sheba and Musa Keita, producer Heater. So,
man, he just gets right out to it. The Queen of Sheba, it's from the Hebrew Bible, and I believe she doesn't have an actual name. But as far as I know, she was represented in the Hebrew Bible. Musa Kita, I believe, is another name for Mansa Musa, who we actually did a video on because Black Thought references him a lot. Mansa Musa was supposedly the wealthiest person in the world, with an estimated fortune of $500 billion. And again, it's very hard to quantify wealth at that time, but he's really known for he did the pilgrimage to Mecca, right? They call Hajj, and he brought thousands of people with him to show his wealth. And some people say there was a different motive that he did that to show how wealthy he was. He was passing out gold bars. He was building mosques along the way. He had all of his what they call slaves and silk garments. They said he passed out so much money during his pilgrimage that it actually destabilized the local economies. And when he was returning, he tried to buy back a lot of the gold at higher interest rates to make sure these people had money. But because it destabilized the region, the price of gold, if everybody has gold, it just artificially inflates the cost of other goods because everybody's wealthier. So this is a guy, that was, he had endless amounts of money. And we go back, and Black Thought says this as well. I try to say this a lot on our channel. When you talk about younger, you talk to these young black dudes, young men and women, and they seem to think that their history starts with slavery. And it's like, bro, we were so much more before we were slaves. We have an entire history of being well educated. This Mansa Musa went back and he built some great universities. And at one point, he literally put Timbuktu on the map. But they had some of the best libraries in the entire world, where other places would come to get education from these places in Africa. So don't ever let people think that you're just some porch monkey, or we were born to be slaves, and there's actually a lot more. And this is a time when other European areas were really struggling, and places in Africa were doing well and prosperous. So I have a video on Mansa Musa. Again, he goes by a variety of different names, but that's what he's referring to when he says Musa Kita. He says the Queen of Sheba and Musa Kita produce a heater, salute your teacher. These are just, it's part of Black history that you probably weren't taught in school about greats from yesteryear or yestercentury, right?
The ego, the Queen of Sheba and Musa Kita produce a heater. Salute your teacher, my newest seed is a future leader. A testament of my evolution to excellence. To be or not to be human, that's what the question is. I'm still the answer regardless. Rappers is moving targets. Acknowledge me as the smartest passenger moving forward. My little sister bars blast like Kalishnikov. Just because heavy bass dance like Kalishnikov.
Man, again, this guy gets you thinking. I'm not really a big history buff, but I know more than than the average bear, if you would. So he says, acknowledge me as the smartest passenger moving forward. My little sister's bars blast like Kalishnikov. Kalishnikov is from the Soviet Union. If I'm not mistaken, he came to the U.S. and he invented the AK-47, which would make sense because he's saying blast like an AK-47. Just because heavy bass dance like Baryshnikov is if I'm not mistaken, he's a famous choreographer that's also from the Soviet Union, which would make sense because it's a continuation of his flow. Just because dance like Baryshnikov. Yeah, he was a choreographer. I don't think he does much work now, but he was really known for being. People would say that he would bring out the emotion in you through dance. But man, this Black Thought is just an intelligent, or not just an intelligent person, but he's also extremely lyrical, and he's just at the top of his game when it comes to creating these lyrics and really push the bar. And something like this, it's just not meant for your everyday 18, 19, or 20-year-old. They would just have no idea. I mean, do they even know what the Soviet Union is anymore? Like, it's just. I'm older. I'm 39 years old. I lived through a lot of this stuff. But I tend to read, or I did, many years ago. But a lot of this would just go straight over the heads of most cats. Let's bring it back a bit.
To be or not to be human, that's what the question is. I'm still the answer regardless. Rappers is moving targets. Acknowledge me as the smartest passenger moving forward. My little sister bars blast like Kalishnikov. Just because heavy bass dance like Kalishnikov. The sound pierce like bullets and swords from a nation under attack like bullets and boards. And I'm repping the foundation to the fullest, of course. Today another light.
Just get it under attack, but attack like you put tacks on the bulletin board. Just that wordplay there. It's so easy to miss some of these little bars, but man, he is nice with it. Let's get back to it.
Of course, today another life was lost and it could have been yours. Whether in Colorado or Collie Park, we but a mile apart from the sharpness of my remarks. The black oligarch making weaponry out of art.
Man, and again, he's saying so much here. Let's see, where were we? The sound like bullets and sword, nation under attack like bulletin boards. It could have been yours. Like he said, another life was lost. It could have been yours, Okay, we're right here. The black oligarch making weaponry out of art. This could go either way. For those that don't know, there's actually a book called The Black Oligarchs. And it goes into depth as to some of the stuff that we went into earlier, right? It's power in the name of the book is The Black Oligarchs, Power and Wealth Since Apartheid. But they talk about concentration of wealth in these areas of Africa. Now, for those that don't know, oligarch is it's a oligarchy is a it's a nation where a few sit at the top and they control the masses. So you would think of like China, right? Iran, Russia. Some would argue the U.S., even though it's debatable. So I don't know if he's just referencing the black oligarchs as in the color of their skin, or if he's actually referencing that book, which would make sense too, because he does talk about the concentration of wealth and power and the history of Africa. It's just hard. With Black Thought, you really don't know. Let's go back to it. But yo, this is definitely a masterpiece with the wordplay. It's cool. I almost think of it like doing a crossword puzzle. Like breaking down Black Thought's lyrics are like a mind puzzle. It's like training your brain and you're educating yourself, because you have to rethink a lot of these, what he's painting. This picture is like, man, I haven't heard or discussed politics in South Africa since God knows when, right? But it makes you think. It gets you, that's the sign of a true lyricist. He's able to paint a picture to show you what he's talking about, but it also makes you think about your own life. It makes you think about history. Man, it's just, I don't know somebody else who's at Black Thought's level, but this is like almost like what Nas does with storytelling, right? Sick with it. Let's bring it back a little bit.
You but a mile apart from the sharpness of my remarks. The black oligarch making weaponry out of art. My supplier, Soul Messiah, told me we gotta talk. I walk through the dark. Now do I roll deep or do I hold heat? Now am I laid back or a control freak?
Man, I want to make sure we don't miss any bars. My supplier, so he said the black oligarch making weaponry out of art. My supplier, Soul Messiah, told me we gotta talk. So he's saying his supplier, but Soul Messiah is if I'm not mistaken, he was a b-boy in the early days. I believe he's from ATL as well, which he referenced much earlier in the song. But he was from Atlanta. He moved to New York, kind of made a name for himself in the b-boy scene. But if I'm not mistaken, I kind of think of him as, you know how they have the 5 pillars of hip-hop, and they have people like... who is it? Africa Bambaataa, and so that were integral in understanding what hip hop means and what these pillars of hip hop. It's like authenticity, b-boying, right? It's that graffiti. It's a lifestyle, right? Well, Soul Messiah, he came out later in life and saying that it's like, I forget what the term is, but it's basically his motto is something that includes hip hop. It's like food, clothing, and hip hop. And he's trying to say that hip hop has become a part of life, right? It's an expression. It's part of every day. So it's really interesting that he says that's his supplier. I almost feel like he's saying, like, that's my teacher. That's where I get my knowledge from. He said, I walk through the dark, right? He told me we got to talk. I walk through the dark. Now, do I roll deep or do I hold heat? It's just interesting. I don't know exactly what he's saying there, but, you roll deep, you come with 50 cats, or do you just bring that heat with you, right? Let's run that back a few seconds here.
Do I roll deep or do I hold heat? Now am I laid back or a control freak? Rocking the crown, gilded in gold leaf. I'm from a place where the people dream but don't sleep.
Yeah.
I want to keep this dialogue alive.
Woo! Yo. But I like what he says there, right? I'm from where people dream, right? We got big dreams of doing better things, but we don't sleep. What does Nas say? Sleep is the cousin of death, right? Yeah, don't be found snoozing, bro. You caught off guard.
Or a control freak, rocking the crown, gilded in gold leaf. I'm from a place where the people dream but don't sleep.
I don't want to keep this dialogue alive. They still don't know I'm out for blood, I'm not surprised. I keep my face well hidden behind a model smiles. And this tight rent.
That smize, right? That's kind of like a smile, right? A smile with your eyes. They call it a smize. He said, I keep my fangs well hidden. I wonder if she looks good. I have no idea who Ciroc is, but she's saying, like, I come at you camouflage, right? I'm kind of like the Mona Lisa. I have that smize. Oh yeah, she's cute. She looks like she's mixed or something. Got that kind of Halle Berry kind of look. She got my hat on too. Let's get back to it. Run it back a few seconds.
I don't know I'm out for blood, I'm not surprised. I keep my fangs well hidden behind a model smiles. In this tyrannical grammar stay italicized by design. I'm emphatically beast over every domain. I survey prey in states of paralysis with my rabbit eyes. And me the thought together, portrait of the worst fears. The darkness come to light, but to the is fraternizing.
Fraternizing means collaborating or discussing, right? Like I'm fraternizing with these dudes. It's just like communicating. Getting to know them, you're in a circle with them.
Let me mark with the eyes beyond penitence. Squad minute for me is the meaning and Lauren lyrics.
Woo, I'm assuming she means Nina Simone, right? And Lauryn Hill's lyrics. So like Nina Simone, I'm defecated on this microphone. That's Lauryn Hill's lyrics. So,
with the eyes beyond penitence, squad minute for me is the meaning and Lauren lyrics. We go guard in the tables as well as the lines. Picture the album, homie, I'm scripture embodied. Holy 16, so the fiend to redeem a picture of pious quoting my verses like I'm second coming, that's just one word I've been heard described. I'm old bottle across the deep pocket that causes all eyes on me when I occupy space immersed in white. Cause I'm lit like a 7-day. My third eye lit, stay wide open like it's broken, it's unsettling. It's a high.
Yo. Man, I'm going to have to check out some more of her work. She's over here spitting. Let's get back to it. I feel like I'm just missing stuff, right? Let's run this back here.
Redeem a picture of pious quoting my verses like I'm second coming, that's just one word I've been heard described. I'm old bottle across the deep pocket.
Okay. Yeah, it's a lot of, you know, they're talking about Bogart and dinner tables, right? That's like they're taking it, right? You're Debo in it, you're Bogart in it. I don't know if that was a reference to Humphrey Bogart. That was a actor from yesteryear as well. And Second Coming, that just one that I've been heard described. One way that I've been heard described. Okay, like I'm the second coming, right? Like the second coming of Christ. Obatala is a, I don't know what, I don't know if it's African or where it's from, but that basically means it's like the creator of all human beings, right? They call him the Sky Father. But I don't know if that's specific to, like if that's tribal or what, but I've heard that reference. And he's saying like, yo, I'm like God. I'm like the creator of all humans, but also crossed with Tupac, right? And Tupac, what do you think of? You think of someone who's woke before the time, right? They're not just, they know who they are, they know the path that they're on, they know what they're fighting for. And then she referenced Tupac again with the cost of all eyes on me when I occupy space. You know, if you're putting yourself out there like that and you're spitting this knowledge to the masses, you know, you're also putting a target on your back. And I think a lot of these, you know, who do you think of, right? Malcolm X, Martin Luther King Jr., Tupac, and Biggie. They're all gone, right? And it's all questionable. I don't know, was anybody ever, well, one could argue about Malcolm X and who really killed him. A lot of people would say the FBI or the CIA, but that's a story for another time. Let's run it back here a few seconds.
Body holy 16, so the fiend to redeem a picture of pious quoting my verses like I'm second coming, that's just one word I've been heard described. I'm old bottle across the deep pocket that causes all eyes on me when I occupy space immersed in white. Cause I'm lit like a 7-day. My third eye lit, stay wide open like it's broken, it's unsettling. It's a high risk going up against my pedigree. It's black thoughts and rock the eyes.
Ooh, I like what it says. It's a high risk going up against my pedigree, right? Now your pedigree is like your I don't know. I think of it like your like the who you are, right? And your pedigree, your stance in life, if you would. Like, you know, with either Black Thought or her, it sounds like they're extremely knowledgeable and well versed in history. And she said, yo, it's a high risk going up against me. Can you even hold a conversation? Or are you going to be like, yo, who is this? Who is this, right? Yo, sick with it. Sick with it. Let's run it back here a few seconds.
My third eye lit, stay wide open like it's broken, it's unsettling. It's a high risk going up against my pedigree. It's black thoughts and rock the ibis in his peddling.
The ibis is it's a bird that's specific to, I believe it's extinct. It's from like Egyptian history. It's a sacred bird. There was a meaning to it. I don't know it off the top. I like to do these reactions live so I can kind of challenge myself. But if I'm not mistaken, it's an Egyptian bird. I don't know if it's, I don't know. I would imagine it's extinct, but it's extremely mysterious. I know that it represented a balance, but it was like purity. I want to say it was more than good and evil, but it represented this balance. But it's a bird, the ibis, ancient Egyptian bird. Padawan, think it's a Star Wars reference. I'm not a big Star Wars guy, but if I'm not mistaken, and feel free to leave a comment if you understand Star Wars or the reference, but I believe that's somebody that you're training, which would make sense. It's Black Thought and Rock. Okay, so it could be like that Egyptian bird, the ibis, represents this balance, and it's Padawan, so it would make sense that it's someone being trained, right? I don't know. It's it's kind of the way I'm thinking of it. It's like your second, it's either your better half, or it's like almost like when you go to get into the trades, right? You're going to be a plumber, you're going to be a mechanic. You have like an apprenticeship. You're passing down the baton. And I kind of think that's what he's referring to here.
When the atom split a dogmatic, enigmatic figure. Dwell in shadow, then emerge with my genetics triggered. The sleeping giant, the ether supply, you keep them wired. So in every verse of this circuit, you make repeat required.
We're firing a live round out of the cartridge. The 5 words written on parchment, high and exalted.
Man, just something about when people go back and forth and they're just spitting. I just love that, man. Let's get back to it.
Repeat required.
We're firing a live round out of the cartridge. The 5 words written on parchment, high and exalted. Police and fire department, main open. A glimmer in the eye of the target, the mind of a marksman.
The word source was preferred source of that black magic. The same orifice, the famed voiceless and spat acid. The dream eater, the green reaper, the dream killer. The sonic boom of the MC and Elohim
The
leader.
sight for the grim.
Yo, man, this guy is just killing it. I can go over a lot of it. The beautiful thing about Black Thought, and I guess Sirach as well, they use words to create a picture. A lot of times it's something that you need an extensive vocabulary to understand the reference, but they can paint other pictures. Like we says, the Dream Eater, right? They say the Dream Eater, the Grim Reaper, 16 killer, right? 16 bars. But the Dream Eater, the Grim Reaper, you can understand the reference, and I get it. But it's just something you got to do a double take. Anytime I hear Black Thought, it's like, yo, run that back. I don't want to miss something. But even something like the Sonic Boom, when an MC and I believe she said Elohim, but that's just another way of saying the living God, right? That's something that's Hebrew, which is a lot of these references are. But it's just like, man, just the way that he puts that, he or she could just say the living God. But the way they really push the boundaries, and they really want to make sure that their audience is either researching this or has an understanding of this, which is brilliant because, let's think about this channel. We say Blackish University, modern day griot. Well, why? What the hell is a griot, right? Well, griot was somebody back in the West African days, back in the days in West Africa, these were oral storytellers, especially before there was a written language. They would tell you stories about different generations. They would pass on knowledge that wasn't in books, right? Now, there was no other way to get this knowledge. One of the reasons that we created this channel is there's so much Black history that's not part of U.S. history. And people, the government, or the powers that be that create the curriculum have, this is one of the things about critical race theory, right? What should or shouldn't be in history books? And what I think is brilliant here is for, in yesteryear, I always said if there's something that I don't understand, I want to Google it right away. So if I ever hear it again, I understand the reference, I understand the context. So I think if a lot of people don't understand this meaning, they're either looking for the meaning and learning without understanding that they're actually learning something, or they look to people that break down lyrics like myself or the other YouTubers of the world that can really, this turns into a little bit of a class about Hebrew and terminology and African history. It's really beautiful what they're doing, and I'm sure Black Thought is not, he's not dumb. I'm sure there's a method to why he uses such dense lyrics and really things that a lot of people wouldn't understand.
Like boom with an MC and Elohim
The
leader.
cipher, the grim reaper, the gatekeeper, the late creeper, the street sweeper, that think deeper, the complete speaker, the sling galley. Went from reefer in the alley to freedom with a Somali on the beaches of Malawi.
Yeah.
The luminary, the heavy pituitary. Knew it very early on. I be the legendary. Hollis inside of my vocabulary, contemporary, personally autographed in every obituary.
Woo! Yo! Man, hey, shout out again. What's the old boy's name? Jose. Man, hey, good looking out with bringing this up for us to reference. I've known about Black Thought for a while, right? With that Coming to Break You Off and the song he did with Erykah Badu, but really only his commercial success. And then I heard that Black Thought freestyle he did on Flex, bro, just put him in a whole other category. I don't think you can listen to that freestyle and argue that he's not top 5 to 20. And I don't want to put my foot in my mouth. I did it on another video where I was like, I don't know. Nas said he was number 1. Like, yo, I don't know. I haven't really put together my top 5. But when I was going through that, I was like, man, it's really hard to find someone to put over Nas, right? He's been in the game for decades. He's extremely lyrical. He's intelligent. He's been trying to put people on game. But he also has commercial success. He also has Illmatic. He also has I Am Rated. There's just, so I think Nas, if I had to do a top 5 real quick, I would probably do somewhere like Nas. I'd have to do an M or Kanye just because they're pushing the bar and controversial and changing the game. But then I'd have to do like a J. Cole, Kendrick Lamar. Man, and it's tough. It's like you get that Most Def, Black Thought, like, you can't leave Black Thought off. And I think just because he hasn't had that same level of commercial success where he's a mega multi-millionaire, he's still doing his thing and he's still getting his money, but he's approaching this his own way. Man, if you like good music, don't forget to like and subscribe. We've been checking out things from Tyler, the Creator, Toby Nwigwe. We've been doing a lot more Black Thought, but we're just doing everything from spoken word to entire albums to just songs like this that somebody recommends. So if you think there's something you want me to check out, let's do it together. And don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel.